I am Captain Spawn, and this is day 333 of Spawn Year. No more distractions. I am just 1 month away from finally fulfilling my end of Doomsvince's original bargain. 1 month away from discovering, once and for all, if I've chosen the correct path. But this wretched place hasn't given up trying to confuse me, it seems. Captain Cog is gone, and with him, he wanted me to believe my rationality. But countering all of that is still Tiny Adam West, who would have me believe all of these mind games are the work of our enemies, the denizens of Coke, and he continues to prepare me for the ultimate showdown to determine which cosmic force will finally reign supreme. The Pepsi Challenge to end all Pepsi challenges. And after choosing to put Captain Cog out of his misery, I have taken a step beyond the point of no return. Risking my sanity, my morality, my humanity, I will be who I must in this nightmare fantasy world, and hope there is enough of Captain Logan left to put the pieces back together again when I return home. And that is why, when Freakadoo predictably returned the very same day his counterpart, the Freak, is reintroduced in the comic, I picked up 2 of the Coke grenades I saved back from Tiny Adam West impromptu battle exercises, and I didn't hesitate to lob them at the supposed personification of my growing madness. No more distractions. But Freakadoo seems to be a wild card. His blood is different from mine, diluted, diet Mountain Dew, and is therefore apparently immune to the effects of Coca-Cola. He just kept coming, smiling, and wishing me salutations, as though he was totally oblivious to the fact that I had just tried to kill him. Of course, this had to happen on day 333, which is 666 divided by 2. Then he sat down and reminded me that we're best friends. He sees my killing of Captain Cog as a gesture of that friendship, and has decided to move in. He says that ever since Captain Cog left, he's become stronger than ever. It was then I realized it was more than his blood. If he's getting more powerful because my alleged reason is dead, there may be nothing I can do to get rid of him. Man, I hope I am right and this is all just an elaborate facade to get to me. Otherwise, I'm looking at my future self. At the moment, my best friend is occupying himself with a deeply involved, stimulating discussion about the rate of urban decay in America's most populated metropolitan areas with the Billy Kincaid teddy bear. So perhaps I can knock out today's review with dispatch before he decides he wants my attention again. Part 8 of Endgame sees a vampire try to bite a far more vicious and dangerous monster in disguise as he snoops around the slums for information on someone named Claudio, and it turns out he was sent by Clown. The section is overly long to build suspense and make the bald man appear helpless and in over his head, but it's predictable, and I wasn't even a little surprised to find he could take care of himself, though his forming a piranha mouth and chomping right through the vampire's arm made me recoil a bit. Jeez, where is Clown finding these guys? It's a bloody mess. So much for the subtle and understated. Now it's like the Carnage Fest of the early issues back when it was brightly colored and over the top, except still in a more gritty, understated style. I think this new direction is already suffering an identity crisis, and that's made more evident by McFarlane's letter in the back where he asks readers to write in and tell him if they prefer an action punch fest or more sophisticated dialogue-driven comics, and makes it clear that he just tries to adjust whatever elements don't seem to be helping to sell books based on sales figures. Storytelling isn't a chemistry experiment. You can't just land on the perfect formula and expect success every time. But then it also is a little like chemistry in that you have to find a balance between all the ingredients. Write what you like, tell the sort of story you want to tell, and then use dialogue and action to further that story naturally. Those elements aren't ends unto themselves. So Jim's losing it because he thinks the angel is gone and she seemed to have answers about his past. And he's not showing any remorse in his human form about the unspeakable things he did to her, so maybe his obsession with figuring out who he is trumps any morality and he's letting it consume him. Or maybe it still is the costume's influence and it has just as much of a hold on him when it's not covering him. It seems to me like the average person who woke up from a coma and couldn't remember who they were would still have some inhibitions, still have enough of a conscience to at least think long and hard before crucifying an angel. He didn't even hesitate. So Jim finds the angel blathering in the alley and sees that her wings have been gruesomely ripped off. And then out of nowhere, the freak shows up and explains that angels' wings are where most of their power comes from, and that without those wings, they'd go insane. And that he's insane too, and his return because the voices in his head told him he needed to return to help with Earth's salvation. Last we saw Freak, he was in hell, and I'm inclined to think he isn't just magically alive again and somehow returned from hell because of what he knows about angels. But as I keep finding, I can't trust any prior history from other issues because it's all expendable. I don't know how people don't turn into Freakadoo just reading this book. It's been all I can do to keep it together, and I've at least got a goal I'm striving for. This is supposed to be entertainment. I guess it's fitting that so many characters in this book, which is in itself insane and has the potential to make its readers insane, are all insane themselves. Everybody but Violator, it seems, who finally reveals himself to Jim in a pretty neat splash page. Violator with such a calm, matter-of-fact expression on his face is really funny. I think McFarlane is bringing in familiar faces in order to appease fans who feel like Al Simmons' death was a typical comic book stunt, like killing and replacing Captain America, as one reader complained about in a letter a couple issues back, except a lot of folks liked Bucky Cap. I think it's all quite simple. The book's numbers plummeted. McFarlane doesn't see that it's because his comic is incomprehensible and nothing ever sticks, and he's grasping at straws issue to issue. But I'm not going to let it drive me nuts, even though this place is constantly suggesting I'm already there. Freakadoo is my reminder of what I'm not yet, and what I must avoid becoming. And I may have no choice now but to keep that reminder around. Signed, Captain Spawn.